Oh, yeah. It is the stock market weekly recap. Let's just be honest. It's a brutal week out there. Ladies and gents, it's a brutal week. We're talking about on the week. We're looking at the Robinhood Portfolio, the M1 Finance, looking at the week ahead for my positions. Then we'll look into how the indices did, and then we'll get into a little bit of news. Nothing too crazy today. We'll try to zoom through it for you, make it pretty easy. So the Robinhood Portfolio obviously took a big hit, $941 down, or 4.28%. Not a good week, I can't lie to you. We were saved a decent bit by some really good earnings reports. I will say that. We had some good earnings reports that kind of do some good work for us, so I'm proud of that. But still rough. As far as activity this week, we'll take a look at that. Decent chunk of activity, all things considered. Cisco paid a dividend, $1.60, nothing crazy. What am I thinking here? Energy stock, which is not part of this week. What are we talking about? I don't think this is any crazy stuff. Yeah. ARI, we bought $50 worth of ARI. We gotta love that. And just today, we bought $50 worth of Apple stock. Only about half a share, really, which isn't too bad. And we also bought $50 of New York Community Bank today after a really good earnings report. Really seeing some good things, hopefully, for that company, which is the equivalent of around 6 shares. From the M1 Finance perspective, on the week down 5.8, not beautiful. Should mention on all time on the Robinhood. We gotta mention this. It's important. All time on the Robinhood up 40.66 or $6,079. We got a good room of buffer, but it's scary stuff. All time for the M1 Finance, we're up 32.31. If you look at just the holdings themselves, we're only up 11.28 as far as the unrealized gain there. But, not too bad. Activity, we had Orchid Island pay a $2.47 dividend, and our morning trading, which wasn't too crazy, literally was just purchasing some IBM. Next week will be the exact same. It'll just be a purchase of IBM, and that's about it, just to level it out to where it needs to be. Probably a couple weeks of that, just so you're aware. That's it for the M1 Finance. Nothing too crazy, just a bad week. As far as the week ahead for me, it's going to be starting the 2nd, obviously. If you look down here, starting the 2nd, we've got highlighted the earnings from Realty Income. You're going to see Prospect Capital release earnings on the 4th. New York Community Bank's ex-dividend date. Apple Hospitality, probably going to be an ugly earnings report, releases the 5th. Iron Mountain releases the 5th. Plug Power, we're trying to hold anymore, releases the 5th as well. So, not a crazy big week for us. Obviously, last week was the biggest week, or this week, previous, I guess I should say. But yeah, as far as the indices, the Dow Jones took a big beating, 6.47% down, means down 7% on the year. Now we're talking more pandemic level stock market, realization. Down 7% means, it makes more sense to me now. Nothing too crazy though. The S&P 500 down 5.6. Overall in the year, up 1.2. I buy that too. Nothing too crazy for the year. The Nasdaq's down 5.5 as well. Still up 21.6 on the year. Crazy performance, but it's valid because of really the tech heaviness of this, and those companies have benefited quite a bit. Look at all these tech earnings from the past week, and you see these companies absolutely obliterating expectations. But yeah, good stuff. We outperformed the indices, as far as the Robinhood portfolio is concerned. And really the M1 we almost did, but on the Robinhood we definitely outperformed. It was because of some good earnings, baby. As far as news, really not a lot to say. Just from an earnings perspective, there's a lot of earnings reports, but just this one thing I wanted to add on here is Boeing highlighting here cutting another 11,000 jobs. Needs to be mentioned obviously because that company's in a world of hurt. Netflix is going to be bumping up the standard plan to $14 a month versus $13 a month. They're going to be bumping that price, and it'll benefit them quite a bit. And the premium subscription is set at 18. The lowest tier is going to stay at $9 a month. So, good for Netflix, good for them. It could mean a lot of money for them. And finally, we have Twitter, running like a little scared dog. They have unblocked the New York Post after releasing an article, obviously political article about some scandalous political beings, and they got banned for it, which is absolutely ridiculous. Twitter's just a piece of garbage. What can I say? I hate Twitter. I hate Twitter and everything it stands for. Just gonna tell you that right now. You're a piece of garbage. Anyways, that's all I got for you, and hope you enjoyed.